One of the other questions that we've seen is, or the comments rather, is that this change was needed to pay for our new building. So how would you respond to members about that?
I've heard that too. And I can understand how members might come to that conclusion, but it is an unfortunate misconception. So, first thing to think about is we operated out of our Hayden headquarters for more than 4 decades. We moved into that facility back in the 80s. When we built that facility, we had 30 employees and we served 8,000 customers. And as you know today, we have over 35,000 customers and we have a staff of 120. Over the span of my 17 years as CEO, 15 of which were in that building, we renovated that facility 4 times, and we were facing yet a fifth renovation. So we asked the architect to help us understand how to best accommodate our growing needs for the next decade. And frankly, we didn't like the answer that the architect gave us. Basically, he said that we needed to rebuild a new facility. So we hired a second architect to give us a better answer. And that architect came back with the exact same answer. And the problem is the Hayden headquarters was sitting on 15 acres of land, 10 acres of which were on one side of Dakota Avenue, 5 on the other. You see all these line trucks around. These line trucks require space to operate. All of the equipment and materials that we have to inventory to keep up with the growth has to be kept on the site. So we had these trucks that were parked outside. They would get snowed on, and our line crews, to respond to an outage in the middle of the night, would report to the headquarters and spend 45 minutes to an hour digging a truck out just to be able to go respond to an outage. All the while, our members are without power. So it was just not an efficient use of the equipment. We had reels of wire like this, and you can imagine this sitting out in the sun, and the winter causes this wood to deteriorate. And you get heavy cable on a wooden reel, and that reel over time will deteriorate and fall apart. And then it becomes very difficult for that to be used in construction. Oftentimes, you just have to scrap the reel of wire. And all the while, wire is getting more and more expensive. So when you added up all of those costs, it ended up being considerably less expensive to build an entirely new headquarters. Another dimension of that I think is oftentimes overlooked is we had the ability to operate out of our Hayden headquarters for 3 years while we planned this facility. But had we stayed where we were at to rebuild the headquarters to meet our needs over the next 10 years, we would have had to move somewhere else. So yeah, we have a really nice building, but we need one for the next 40 years.
Understood.
So I'll jump in here, Doug. One of the things is that we are working in this truck bay here. It's a 24/7 operation, so there's going to be noises in the background as we do this. So please excuse that. But one of the things I wanted to add to what you just said, Doug, was when we were considering the building and the cost of the building to the cooperative, as the CFO, I was tasked with modeling financially how this looked for the cooperative. And one of the interesting things about it, and one of the virtues of being a cooperative, is that we can borrow long-term rates for 30 years and spread those costs over 30 years. So that is, so when we when we plugged the building into our financial model for the next 10 years, it came out to be a 5% increase, and we spread that out over 10 years. So every year, there's about a 0.5% increase in rates associated with the building. So it really is not a huge driver at all to the increase in rates. It's more to something we'll talk about, and that is the grid and the power we're buying. So just wanted to add that bit of color to what you just said.
The two things I think I would add to that. One is it's important to recognize that had we built headquarters and renovated on the Hayden site, that number would have been higher. So the impact of this facility was less.
Right.
The other thing I will add to that is that when you say that the impact is 0.5% per year spread over a 10-year period or 5% total, if you look at the rate increases that we've had over the last 2 or 3 years, last year was 9.7%, this year was 7.75%. Clearly, the building is not the answer to what's driving rate increases.
Mhm.